に本当に絶好だ。
So I hated this episode. But wait, don't click off. I promise. Don't click off yet. I hated this episode, but that was the point. I think you and me were supposed to hate this episode. And let me kind of break it down to you. In this episode, we have one of the most annoying things in the world, which is a character, and in this case, Himari, who has always been playing this, best friend. They're the best friend. They're the one who is too close to you and the one who cannot sort out their feelings for the life of them. And because of their own intervention, when somebody else comes into the picture, in this case, that's Rion, who comes in the picture to vie for Yu's love and who's real about it, right? Because that's the thing, is we have Rion here who's not playing games, who changed her attitude, let him know that she is the one, let him know that she's the one who has always been thinking of him. Is pretty, she's also kind of working up the courage, but she's very straightforward on the fact that she does in fact like you. Now, you has the unique thing to weigh out my best friend, who's been there, or the person who was my childhood crush. Could this be something? That's for our main character to decide. But we have this scenario now where Rion is being all about you, and Himari is still trying to play the, well, I don't like, he's just my best friend, blah, 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 blah. And that is an annoying trait in a person and in a written character. Now, when I say, oh, I hate this episode at the beginning, that holds true. But I think that, and this is my personal opinion, it's all I share with you guys here, I think that is how the author is intending to write Himari. He wants his viewers, readers, to be able to go and be like, I can't stand what this girl is doing right now. And that is an important thing. Unlike some other shows that you might just hate because they're boring or, characters are overly annoying, when it's you, there's like something that you can just kind of pick up or turn on in your brain where you can tell the intentionality behind it. Now, if this proceeds across the next handful of episodes and we continually have this back and forth, okay, then the intentionality gets pulled away, and that's just this character that they decided to write this way, and there really wasn't a whole lot of thinking behind it. But I'm going to give the author the benefit of the doubt here and say Himari is being written to be hated intentionally, to have some kind of redemption route to where maybe she makes the first move. Now, throughout the whole entire episode, you have Himari continually getting jealous, and she's only real to herself when she's by herself. But the moment Yu comes into play, it's like she's back to playing her games. And that is an extremely annoying thing. She's back to, oh, I want to kiss him, but yet I'm going to pretend I'm taking a photo or picture. So in case he actually does go through with it, I could be like, oh, hee hee, ha ha, joke's on you. But then she does the weird psycho thing about getting really mad when he actually doesn't go through with it at all. And it's like, well, girl, that's your fault. Then later on in the episode, they're talking to Rion about being her model and stuff, and she throws a hissy fit about it. And thankfully, we have Shinji, which is like the other boy character who sees right through her and is trying to call her out at every corner, while Yu is there just, virgin, I don't get anything, which is, I have a whole nother subset of anger about that. But you have Shinji who's trying to call her out over and over. And eventually Yu, through this conversation was like, he's not understanding what's going on, but he's just taking everything from face value. He's like, yeah, you know what? I think you're wrong here. I am going to go with Rion. You play too many games and I'm not digging that right now. So in his mind, he needs Rion to not only be model and help him, but also be defense, because Himari be playing too many games that he wants somebody else there who can maybe curb some of that. So he has to deal with less of it so he can focus more on the things that matter. So that's where he's thinking from. But Himari gets really angry, basically thinking that he's choosing Rion over her. And then at the end of the episode, she throws this really, really large hissy fit to where it's like if she caught him cheating on her, but yet he never did anything. So she throws this big hissy fit where she puts water on him and says that they're done and they need to split up. It's like, girl, what kind of imaginary story were you telling yourself in your head? Because the words you're speaking to your boy you are nothing about friendship, best friends, we could never, blah, blah, blah. But we might if we're 30. It's like, okay, you just need to own up and be real about your feelings because you've been playing with Boy's heart for too long. That you've been playing it with for too long to the point that he's like, she ain't real about anything. I'm the only one feeling anything. And that's not what needs to be here. I just want to be friends. I don't want to lose her. She's important to me. So I'm going to back away. And I don't think that this needs to happen. And like I said, last episode, like once you turn that part of your brain off to potential love interest to only friend, it's almost near impossible. Not completely, but it's almost near impossible to turn that clock back to potential love interest again. Of course, your partner in life is always going to be your best friend, blah, blah, blah. But that intimacy and the love partner piece of it needs to fall into place first, and then you realize she or he is my love partner, but also my best friend. So it's just one of those things to where the end was really annoying. Now, the elephant in the room is you himself. This is one where I don't quite like you too much. There's a couple of things I want to mention to you guys. I don't really, and this is going to sound weird because for the most part, there's a lot of times in certain anime where I am begging and craving for inner monologue, inner dialogue for a character, because a lot of times the story is told from one perspective and we don't really know what the other person is thinking ever or at all. But in this case, we have tons of inner dialogue and monologue from you, but I don't like it. It's like, so you're dumb outwards and you're dumb in here too? Now, he does catch on at times up here to Himari and her antics and stuff, but he's not quite painting the full picture. It's like he almost gets there and then just stops before he actually gets to what's actually happening with Himari. So I'm not a really big fan of his inner monologue dialogue that is going on. And yeah, I'm not really a big fan of it. Second thing is he's super duper dense. And in like every other anime, not every, but 90, 80, 85, 90% of all these other rom-com MCs. I just don't understand the appeal of writing some unrealistically dense person. Now, again, I understand dense people do exist, especially when you're younger. When you're in that, pre-17 age, you're pretty dumb, okay? Even if you're a super intelligent, high IQ, socialistically, most of the time, probably 90%, we're pretty dumb. But there's a difference between being immature and not enough life experience stuff and super duper dense. I think that in moments, you is getting it, but then him getting it falls off a cliff, and then he's suddenly like a lost virgin boy again. That kind of doesn't ruin this show, but it definitely takes me from, let's say, I loved it at a 10, and then the Himari is a little bit annoying, wishy-washy back and forth. It takes me to a 9 or something like that. Well, I'd probably, let me just be real. I'd probably start about an 8. I don't think this show's any better than an 8. But then, you have Himari stuff. Maybe I take it down a point or a half point. Maybe I'm at 7.5. And then you have you, and the way he's written, he probably takes it down like a full basis point. So legitimately, the show overall, I think episode 2 was the best. But the show overall, I think I'd probably be about a 7 out of 10. Legitimately, if I did half and half points and stuff, I'd be at a 6.5 out of 10. I think that is a good summary of where this show's at. Because this episode, I didn't laugh at all. I was missing comedy from the comedy romance. But I still dug what they did. Again, assuming, and I'm giving the author benefit of the doubt, assuming that the way Himari is being written is intentional. Time will tell us if that's intentional or not. If it ends up not being, and they just wrote her like that, and we keep having this back and forth, will they, won't they, will she, won't she? That's going to get old by episode 5 or 6. I'm done with it. So I'm going to cross fingers and toes that that's not the case. All right, my friends, that's all I had for you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed me ranting / talking about episode 3 of the show today of about can a boy-girl friendship survive? Legitimately, I think Rion's the best character. And I think she is the best fit for you. I'm not the biggest fan of Himari. So I think she's funny, but not this episode, though. All right, I'll see you guys next week. Peace.